Hi everybody, this is Robin from the Robin's Nest. I want to say thank you to all the people who looked at my last video, the one about Kanye West. That was awesome. Thank you very much to the almost 7 or 8,000 viewers that I got on that last video. Thank you. Okay, I'll do my best to make this one brief. Oh, and I must apologize again because it seems like every time I make a video for the past few months, they've all centered around Michael Jackson for some reason, one reason or another. And for those who watch my videos on a regular basis, if you think, oh God, another Michael Jackson video from Robin, I'm really, really sorry. But this needs to be said. Apparently there is brouhaha over in Australia because of the TV show Hey Hey It's Saturday, and Harry Connick Jr. was one of the judges of this show, which was sort of like an Australian version of the Gong Show. And these five doctors um, were on this show. It was reunion special actually. They performed Can You Feel It as the Jacksons, Michael and the Jacksons, in Blackface. And apparently they did this 20 years ago and won. And now everybody is wondering, well, what's all the brouhaha? First of all, when it happened 20 years ago, I'm quite sure it was all centered in just Australia and it didn't get out over to our shores, so Americans didn't see this 20 years ago. And also, now you have Harry Connick Jr. as an American, a Southern American, being a judge on this show, and he sees this and he speaks up about it. And I think he had every right to speak up about it because it is offensive to us. And let's look at it on the flip side. Let's look at it if Harry didn't say anything about it. If he didn't say anything about it and the clip got out to our shores, then everybody would be thinking that he is tolerating racism. That they would think that he was a typical southern white man who's tolerating racism. So he was caught between a rock and a hard place, basically. He was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And he 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 had to speak up about it because if he didn't, it would have been damaging. First of all, he was embarrassed by everything that he saw. You know, you could just see it in the look on his face. He was disgusted. And secondly, you could just tell that if he didn't speak up about it, he would virtually be hated for it. Now, I will give the Australian performers this. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. They said this was supposed to be a tribute to Michael and the Jacksons, Michael who just died 4 months ago. Okay? I can understand wanting to do a tribute. You know, everybody has been doing their own tributes to this man for the past 4 months. Um, and, you know, they said that they did this 20 years ago and they didn't mean any offense. I will give them the benefit of the doubt by saying that because they are Australian, they probably do not know that this is a very, very embarrassing, very demeaning, very degrading thing. It's hurtful to us. It really is. It's a hurtful image. It's an embarrassing image. It just makes us look like idiots. And they probably did not understand that. They probably did not realize that that is hurtful in our culture. And so they went ahead and they did it, and I'm quite sure they did not mean any harm. They just were ignorant. And I don't mean ignorant in a bad, nasty kind of way. I mean ignorant in the fact that they just did not know. So, I wanted to speak about that, and I also want to give my point of view on the other side of the issue with the fact that now everyone is trying to say that, oh, well, Harry Connick, he doesn't mean what he says. He's a hypocrite because he did the skit on Mad TV where he was playing a southern black preacher, even though he was white, and he probably had on some tan makeup or whatever. Okay, he I couldn't see if his skin was darkened and on that clip. I just couldn't tell. But the one thing I do realize is that if it had been considered offensive, if it was offensive, then then the black man, the comedic actor who was standing next to him, would have really have been offended. He would have been upset. He would have been angry. He would have punched the shit out of him. And he didn't. These are just two actors doing their job as the best that they can to entertain the Mad TV audience. That's it. So that whole issue of well, he's a bigot because he was doing this, blah 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 blah. That doesn't even factor. It doesn't even matter. If he did it in blackface, yeah, then that would be fucked up, okay? But he didn't. So that shouldn't even come into play. And what really bothers me is the comments that are being made. You know, I know that in comedy it's about pushing the edge, pushing the envelope to the edge and trying to get a shock value for laughs and all that kind of stuff. And in my hometown, I'm no stranger to it. I'm an actress myself. I know that in comedy, sometimes you got to do things to really put yourself out there and push, what you're saying and doing to the limit just to get that laugh. I understand that. But the thing that is really bothering me of late is I see a lot of these comments on YouTube, and it's really making me start to wonder, what year am I living in? Am I living in 2009, or am I living in 1959 or 1949 or 1939? What year am I living in? Because there used to be a time when you didn't say things like this. You didn't do things like this. And I'm noticing that it's becoming a more prevalent thing. Racism is rearing its ugly head. It's coming back bigger and stronger than ever. And I cannot stand the type of person who is going to be up in my face one minute by saying all these wonderful things about an African American person and their people, and then go back and say every type of N word you can think of. And it's not just with a white person, it's also with a black person when they're being bigoted. You know, I was in an interracial relationship once, and I heard a couple black people talking about interracial relationships and how they shouldn't be, and that it was wrong for them to do, and just saying all these mean, hateful things. So when I hear stuff like this, be it from somebody white, be it from somebody black, I try to push that person out of my life, or at least try to correct them and show them that they're wrong in their thinking, and that this is just plain ignorant, nasty ignorant. So I really want everyone to stop and think about what it is that we're doing and how we're living in this country and how we think about each other race-wise, and why we just can't love one another and tolerate one another. This is Robin from the Robin's Nest, giving you some food for thought. Don't starve.